Sugar is now found in 80% of the foods we eat, but with the constant confusion over its effects on our health, I feel like I need some definitive answers.
Sugar is poison. Diabetes, heart disease, lipid problems, strokes, cancer. Those diseases are being driven by sugar.
The real problem is the food companies who load their products up with sugar, which critics call dangerous and addictive.
If a foreign nation were doing that to our children, we would defend our families.
Years from now, we're going to say, I can't believe we let them get away with that.
Stan Glantz is famous in litigation circles as a man who first publicized secret tobacco industry documents that prove cigarette companies knew their product was dangerous. In the new sugar documents, he sees lots of parallels.
Well, one parallel is just trying to undermine science. Another one is working to try to attack and intimidate scientists and others who are coming up with results that these big corporate interests don't like. Another one is trying to subvert sensible regulation.
The sugar industry has decades of practice in that. In 2003, the World Health Organization in Geneva was looking at a resolution recommending people reduce their sugar intake to just 10% of what they eat. It had broad appeal among health experts, but then the industry weighed in.
The sugar industry went to their friends in the U.S. Congress, and they got these very influential congressmen to write letters and say that this is simply unacceptable, and if the U.S. would pull its funding for the World Health Organization if this report continued.
5 months later, the recommendation quietly disappeared.
32% of the world's corn supply, $63.9 billion worth, came from U.S. farmers. That's a lot of corn. No wonder this corn-derived sweetener is in almost everything. High fructose corn syrup and sugar have built up a bad reputation over time, but there's 54 other names for sugar that the food industry can use to have us feeling better about their products while keeping the sugar in. This is how even the more health-conscious people can end up consuming more than twice the daily recommended intake of sugar without even knowing it. And now we have the question, are you addicted to sugar? If you're like most people, you're fulfilling your cravings at almost every meal without even knowing it. So how could you tell? With something like caffeine, you can take a pretty good guess about whether or not you have some dependence on it. You can just go without coffee for a while and see how you feel. However, with sugar, it will take some deliberation and careful label reading to properly cut it out from your diet.
So here are the rules of the challenge. No soda or sweetened beverages, that includes diet soda and juice. No artificial sugars or sugar substitutes, and no foods that have added sugar, which includes not only my favorite desserts, but to my surprise, everything from yogurts to canned foods to spaghetti sauce.
So you have to learn how to hunt and gather successfully in the supermarket, and the best way to do that is to stick around the edges of the supermarket. So don't go down any of the aisles where all the processed foods are.
He says there are 600,000 food items in America, and 80% have added sugar.
It's very simple. If you read a label and there's an ingredient you can't pronounce, don't recognize, it's in Latin or it's not a real food, put the food back on the shelf.
I knew I was consuming a decent amount of sugar, but without reading the labels and digging into weekly snacks and meals, I wouldn't know for sure. There were, of course, some no-brainers. Ice cream is loaded. Chocolate snacks are packed. My once-a-month energy drink. But I was also surprised to find a lot of sugar in my protein bars. My breakfast cereal is basically a dessert. Even the bread I was buying had 5 grams a slice. If you're like me and you have very little self-control, the only thing you can do to regain control is to completely change your environment. It's impossible to eat snacks that you refuse to purchase and bring into your home in the first place. So all this stuff needs to go.
I love dessert.
Yes.
You've taken that away from me.
We think we love cookies, we love donuts, we love cake, but I've got news for you. It's not love, it's addiction. In animal studies, they found that sugar's 8 times as addictive as cocaine. When they put rats eating sugar in a little sugar bowl with liquid sugar, and then they put them on an electric shock pad and they shock them while they're eating the sugar, they keep eating the sugar even while they're getting shocked because it feels that good.
So I'm the rat in this.
You are. You're the rat.
Here at Brown University in Rhode Island, they're doing studies they think should make a lot of humans nervous. This rat is perfectly healthy. Put him in a vat of water and he finds his way to safety every time.
5.2.
Now, look at this guy. What he's been eating is the equivalent of a North American diet, complete with all the fats and sugars we regularly consume. He doesn't know where to go. His brain has been damaged.
How does the specific type of carbohydrates we eat affect our brains? Carbs come in 3 forms: starch, sugar, and fiber. While on most nutrition labels, they are all lumped into one total carb count, the ratio of the sugar and fiber subgroups to the whole amount affect how the body and brain respond. A high glycemic food, like white bread, causes a rapid release of glucose into the blood, and then comes the dip. Blood sugar shoots down, and with it, our attention span and mood. On the other hand, oats, grains, and legumes have slower glucose release, enabling a steadier level of attentiveness. For sustained brain power, opting for a varied diet of nutrient-rich foods is critical.
These calories do dramatically different things in the human body.
Brown sugar, white sugar, fruit juice concentrate from fruit juice, equal effect on your health.
Not feeling very well at all today.
My fuse is a lot shorter.
Your mental function is just unstable.
Whenever you walk into a supermarket, make an immediate turn for the produce aisle and avoid everything in the middle.
Sugar's not evil, but life is so much better when you get rid of it.